Alright, today we're going to look at writing an equation of parallel lines. So in order to do this, we're going to write our answers in slope-intercept form, which is just y equals mx plus b. Now the reason it's called slope-intercept form is because in this equation our slope is given and our intercept is given, and it is the y-intercept that is given. Now the equation that we'll be using to get this answer is our point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This again is called the point slope formula. And in order to use this, you need two things. You need the slope, and you're going to need a point. And so the point that I give you, you'll plug into the x1 and to the y1. Now, since we're going to be writing equations of parallel lines, recall that parallel lines have the same slope. So we're going to use that to help us answer these questions. Alright, so the first question says write an equation in slope-intercept form. So we know what slope-intercept form is, that we just looked at. So we want our final answer to look like this: y equals mx plus b. For the line that contains the given point and is parallel, so as soon as we see that word parallel, we think same slopes, and so that contains the given point and is parallel to the given line. So we have the equation y equals negative 2x plus 8. So the only number I need out of this equation is the slope. So let's go ahead and say that the slope is negative 2. And so now we'll write our point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And so our slope we now know is negative 2. So we're going to put that here. So we know it's going to equal negative 2. And so now we're going to use this point that they give us, and we're going to plug those into our x1 and y1. And so what I like to do is I like to label this x1, y1. And so that means the x1 coordinate is going to go in place of the x1, and the y1 is going to take the place of the y1. No, that's not blue color. Let's try blue instead. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. So it's going to be y minus, now this y1 is negative 2, and so I'm going to put this in parentheses, because I'm going to minus a negative 2. The x doesn't change, minus, and the x1 value is 1. And so on the left-hand side, we're going to clean this up. A minus a negative 2 gives us y plus 2. And now over here, we're going to distribute. So we're going to take this negative and distribute it in. So negative 2 times x gives us negative 2x. And negative 2 times minus 1, we'll treat this as a negative 1. So a negative times a negative gives us a positive 2. And so remember, our goal is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we want the y on the left-hand side. So I need to get rid of the 2 now. So I'm going to get rid of this 2. I'm going to minus it from both sides. And so when I minus it from both sides, I put it underneath the number, not the x. And so now these cancel out, and I get y equals negative 2x, and 2 minus 2 is just 0, so you could leave your answer like this. If you wanted to, you could write the plus 0, but it's not necessary. So I'm going to say my final answer is y equals negative 2x. So this equation is parallel to this one, and we know that because they have the same slopes. Alright, let's look at another example. And so as you look at this example, notice the equation. As you look at the equation, you notice that it's not in slope-intercept form. I want this to be y equals mx plus b. And the reason I want that is because I want to know what number's in front of the x. So you look at that, oh, well, it's 6. Well, let's see what happens. Let's make this look like this. So we're going to minus 6x from both sides. And even though I write it underneath the 5, I'm not going to be able to do anything with that because this has an x, this one doesn't. So I'm just going to write it with the x coming first, negative 6x plus 5. Now I need to get rid of the 2 in front, so I divide everything by 2. And so this cancels out, and I get y equals negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3x. And 2 can't go into 5, so we'll just leave it as a fraction, 5 halves. And I don't really care about this right now because I'm not graphing. The only thing I care about is my slope. And my slope is going to be negative 3. So I know my slope is going to be negative 3. And then I'm going to use this point. This is my x1, y1. And we'll use that to plug into our point-slope formula. So always write your point-slope formula when you use it. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The reason I write it every time because it helps me memorize it. And so we already know that this is negative 3, so we can put that there. It's going to be y minus x minus. And so it's sometimes a good idea to go ahead and put open parentheses here that we're going to replace those with. Alright, let's go ahead and plug in our y1 value. So our y1 value is negative 1. So it goes here, negative 1. Our x1 value is negative 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up a little bit. So when we minus a negative 1, we can write that as y plus 1 equals negative 3. X, and then a minus minus again will make plus 3. So now we have that number on the outside of the parentheses, so let's go ahead and distribute that. Let's redraw that arrow a little bit better. Let's distribute that to the 3. So negative 3 times x gives us negative 3x. Negative 3 times 3 gives us minus 9. We didn't do anything over here, so we'll just rewrite it, y plus 1. So our goal is slope-intercept form, so we just need a minus the 1 from both sides. So minus the 1, it's a number, so you put it with the number. So this goes away, and we get y equals negative 3x minus 10. Plot the given point and graph the given line. Then graph the line parallel to the given line through the given point. Alright, so let's take a look here. Let's start by graphing this line, y equals negative 2x plus 3. So I'm going to go up to 3. It's my y-intercept. And now my slope is going to be negative 2 over 1. So I go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So if you've already watched my previous videos, you know that drawing a line is not the easiest thing to do. So let's go ahead and see if I can insert a line. I can do that, but I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to get rid of that. Alright. Well, we'll just go ahead and work with that for now. Alright, so now we have the other point, negative 1, 3. So we'll graph this point, negative 1, 3. So we start here at 0, we go left 1 because of the negative 1, and then we have a positive 3. So remember, we want parallel lines, and parallel lines have the same slope. So, since the slope of this line was negative 2, we'll just do that again. Negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1. Okay, so now that line might be in the way, but let's see what happens. Alright, so you can see that the lines are parallel, they don't touch. It goes through the point that was given, the negative 1, 3, negative 1, 3. So let me know if you need help or have any questions.